Okay, that's what I meant. All right. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they call me on the phone and they say, "Hey man, what's your show about?" Actually, we're not really doing the phone anymore. I think we got a Twitter address on there somewhere. But people ask me, so what's my show about? Say it's about an hour. It's about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So if you want to ask me a question, there's a Twitter thing up there somewhere. I don't know. We'll get straightened out. You can tweet questions about how to play the guitar, the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you. You want to talk about something similar like a guitarrón, a sitar, a guitarra, lutes, uds, vihuelas, banjos, balaicas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos, chitoles, mandolins, mandors, mandocellos, banjolims and bandolims, and ukuleles, guitar lalies, pipe organs and piccolos, lutes, woods, vihuelas. Yeah,
saw a review of the show Dolly Parton did up in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
She brought her sax and violins.
Sax and violins. Oh, yeah.
So she, besides the guitar and banjo, she played the fiddle, piano, auto harp, and penny whistle.
I heard she played dulcimer, too. Somebody I was talking to was there. Anyway. But anyway, okay. So, anything musical? Clarinets, clavinets,
And
clavichords.
tonight especially, politicians.
That's right. Well, I say politics, world events are your own personality problems. It's fine, we're here for you, but we keep it clean. This is a family program. So, anyway, well, we have guests here, and we have a full crew tonight. Sometimes in the dead of winter, there's nobody here, man. Not even you, man, because you...
Yeah, I become the desert correspondent in the winter.
That's right, yeah. When you don't even call in. The last couple of years, you haven't called in.
Yeah, I'll have to do something about that.
You better.
I've been out fetching and carrying. My wife's had a class that I was going to get her the same time this show was on.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well.
Maybe I'll have to get the Bluetooth and talk while I'm driving.
Yeah, and you cause an accident or something. Anyway, well, so Bob, I have a confession to make.
Confess away.
I might have got another guitar. Yeah, it was last week, but I actually wanted to bring on the show last week, but I did a thing upstairs, and this guitar is a Diamond Imperial semi-hollow, and I didn't know they even existed, but then I found there were two of them available through Amazon.
And that's a new name for a company you've had some guitars from
Yeah,
before?
it was DBZ, and then it was DBZ Diamond, and now it's Diamond, and it's really, I don't know what's going on with them. Should I tell my little story?
We got an hour to kill.
Yeah, well, all right, we got. Okay, so I was like some weeks ago. I did the show with a yellow Flying V guitar, the Lamborghini yellow Flying V,
And get some rock and roll out of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and some jazz, but I couldn't remember what it was called because Flying V is a Gibson. Yeah. So I got I had to look it up. So I knew it was DBZ. So I looked up DBZ guitars, and I found out it was a Cavallo. And I've told you this story before. I didn't know how to pronounce it for sure, so I asked
Our fearless leader.
Yeah, Gerardo. And he knows how to say caballo. I said, yeah, caballo. So okay, I'm saying it right. Spanish is more useful. I did the French, so ne pas de quoi. It doesn't help you much,
Yeah, you'll run across more people that speak Spanish than you will that speak French, at least here.
The only people you really speak French to are, because you speak to the French, they don't like it because I make mistakes and stuff. It's been a long time since I was a French schoolboy. But like Africans, like people from Congo, that's good because a lot of them speak French. But anyway, and everybody you can imagine comes to Iowa City. So anyway, all right, so while looking up this DBZ guitar, I saw this one and another one that I wanted to get that was unavailable when the local guitar shop who was supposedly a dealer. So I asked the guy, the local dealer, the shop over there, the Musicians Pro Shop, if he could get me one. He said, well, I'm theoretically a dealer. So he sent an email. No response. Sent another email. No response. I said, if there's no response by Monday, I'll call him. So I went in there on that Monday, and he called. And on the seventh ring, the guy answered, and he seemed really annoyed. Yeah, we don't have any guitars. Maybe in a couple months. Right, yeah. It's like when you say you're going to send a check in the mail. So I went to Amazon. They had two of them available in a rather ramshackle-looking warehouse in Muncie, Indiana. And that's all. So I got one, and I couldn't be happier. It's very, very thin. Okay? It's a little skinny little semi-hollow, and it's. So my thing is, I kind of want to play jazz, although I don't want anybody to think I'm a jazz guitar player, because
Yes. Jazz guitar player plays
rock guitar player.
plays 3 notes in front of thousands of
Three
people.
chords in front of thousands of people.
Three chords. And the jazz player,
Thousands of chords in front of 3 people. So but anyway, I'll probably go through a whole show one of these weeks about my identity crisis. I'm going to have a guest on here, so I'm going to not make it too much about that. Look, you get a side view how skinny this thing is. But about like I'll bring the like old-fashioned ones, like some of my older jazz guitars, like from in the '90s and stuff, and then this thing, and then also my propensity for playing jazz on or jazz-like music on like traditionally rock guitars, like Stratocasters and things. But this, I tell you, Amazon's taken over. I tried to give the guy some business, but they wouldn't help him out. So Amazon, and you get like no interest if you pay it off in 12 months. And I might have bought a couple other guitars too since this, but and this amp is new to me too. It's used, but I got it. So I'm going to be in hock for like a while. Yeah. I might have to get a paper route. But anyway, okay.
maybe we better tell people where they can come see you play.
Well, this Friday, Saturday, I'll be in beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa, at the Tuscan Moon. It could become a kind of a tourist destination, Kelowna. It's an Amish community. So watch your step. You know what I mean? Pollution. And I'll be at the Tuscan Moon, Italian steakhouse, kind of place where you have fancy dinner and even fancier wine, ambiance.
Listen to the fancy guitar player.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be talking. I won't say a word. I'm gonna play for like 3.5, maybe 4 hours, solid straight through. Mostly I've been just doing the classical guitar thing. I mean, playing popular music and jazz and stuff on it. But you know what I
Need
do?
reservations this time of year?
Definitely make reservations, or come really late, like come at 9 or something.
And you'll be there from like 6:30 to 10?
Something like that. I'm supposed to start at 6, so I'll get there about 6:30. So anyway.
So exit 80 off of 218.
Yeah.
Go west, young man.
That's right, Highway 22. Yeah, lovely little highway, Highway 22. You should, if you want a little thrill, just explore Highway 22. So anyway,
Or as you often say, go down Highway 1.
you can go down Highway 1, but there are always problems with that, and they've widened it, and you don't really take your life in your hands so much. But a lot of people don't understand about passing and stuff. So you could die at any moment. That's what I'm saying. All right, I should play something, and then we should get our guest on here. So, hey man, somebody pick a key. Something between
E.
Minor or major?
You're the guitar picker. You tell me.
Yeah. I say A minor is somebody. No, okay. Thanks for coal. I'll do that. A minor. I want to loop with my old looper. All right. Well, we have a guest over here. I guess we'll have to somebody had to put a camera on this guy over here now.
I'll leave that. We'll bring Mike over by you.
Yeah. Well, what would you?
Well-
What would be better? Well, there we go. All right. Well, okay. So I met you in Decorah.
Hi, Tom. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
So yeah, I was playing my guitar up there with my old buddy Raimundo Rosales, and I was hoping he'd come down here sometime. But anyway, but you were I met you. So
About 2 or 3 weeks ago, you came up to Decorah for a fundraiser and graciously invited me to come down to Iowa City to appear on your show. And probably some of your hardcore viewers who've been here 30, 40, 100 years watching your show are wondering, what? Why do you have a guy running for political office on your guitar show? Well, there's a good reason for this. When I was in junior high school, my brother took guitar lessons. He was okay, but he wasn't as good as you.
no, okay.
And so the difference is, you've got passion and feeling. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing it to impress a girlfriend, I think.
Oh, that doesn't work, man.
No, it doesn't work. So you can learn guitar or other music to make lots of money. You can do it for ego. You can do it for all kinds of reasons. But if you don't do it with passion, it's flat, and people know it. They smell it. So there is a link between guitar playing and real politics. I tell people, the Greek root of the word politics is polis, and it means from the city, how we move in the city, how we interact with each other. And the Latin word for civilization, for civics, for citizen, for all these words comes from the city as well. And so we're not talking about a literal city. We're talking, though, how people live together. And what I'm running for the U.S. Senate from Iowa against Charles Grassley and Patty Judge. I'm running out of passion. I'm not running to get rich. I'm not running for ego. I hope not. I'm not running to bring joy to my friends at Monsanto or the Iowa Farm Bureau or the NRA. I'm running because if in our civilization in the United States we've gone awry, we've lost our way, the way to get us back on target is for people to really be engaged in the city from their hearts, not to vote for temporary monetary gain or to please someone's labor union boss or whatever, but to really have a public discourse that's based on feeling, how we feel about things. So I am running. Yesterday I went to Des Moines to the Secretary of State and I handed in all my 1,500 signatures, many of which were gathered at the Iowa City Farmers Market, by the way. So many of your hardcore listeners who have been watching for 20, 30, 100 years, they signed my petitions. I went to the Secretary of State and I handed in my petition, said, I'm going to do this. I don't know what will happen. I could be elected. I could also not be elected, but it doesn't really matter. Because I have no friends with deep pockets. I have you, but I don't think your pockets are that deep. Your guitar strings are good.
Not anymore.
No. Yeah,
they never were. But,
you're in hock for that guitar.
Oh, man, up to my neck. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. But what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to go around Iowa for the next 3 months. Now that I'm an official candidate, people like the Des Moines Register will actually mention my name. They wouldn't do it until yesterday because I wasn't on the official list yet. I'm going to go around and raise issues that other candidates won't raise. In my category, that would be the Senate, that would be Patty Judge, Charles Grassley. I cannot imagine that they'll bring up water quality. When my people came to Iowa, maybe when your people came to Iowa, mine have been since the 1830s, 1840s, Iowa was a pure prairie. Air and water and land, it was all vital and full of good things and life, and now it's not. So Patty Judge is not going to bring up water quality because that issue will blow up in her face. She'd have to admit, yep, I was with the people who wanted to stop the city of Des Moines suing 3 counties upriver that were polluting Des Moines' water source. Neither Patty Judge nor Charles Grassley, who, like I, grew up on an Iowa farm. We all 3 come from farm backgrounds. The difference is those 2 come from big ag, and I don't. I come from a small quarter section of land, which these days is like a postage stamp. But I grew up on a farm. We had that one farm place 105 years. My people farmed in this country 355 years until we lost our farm in 1985. So I'm here to say there's got to be a better way to do agriculture. My grandfather practiced it in the early days. My father practiced it. We still had some cows, some chickens, some sheep, some pigs. And now you've got these horrible hog confinement buildings that are contaminating our wells. So I'll go around, I'll bring up that issue. I'll bring up issues that nobody else really wants to talk about. 71 counties out of 99 counties in Iowa have lost population. And if you think about it, Iowa City's a great place. Cedar Rapids is bouncing back from that horrible flood. Des Moines, good. Ames, even Council Bluffs is, believe it or not, regenerating. Lofts going in downtown and eateries and clubs and things like that. So it's great that we have cities that are reviving in Iowa, but don't forget that what built the great cities were the farms and small towns. It wasn't the other way around. Great cities didn't build the rest of Iowa. It was indeed Iowa the last 200 years, rural Iowa, that gave hand to the state universities, gave hand to industry, gave hand to the big cities. So if we're going to take Iowa forward, I believe it has to be for everybody. Everybody in every county in Iowa has to have a chance. That means a job. That means a place to do culture, to be civically involved, to play guitar music, if you will, to write poetry, to sit in the cafe, to have conventions, to have fairs, to have all kinds of things. But at the current rate, Iowa's bleeding. 71 counties are hemorrhaging. We need to stop that. So I'll bring up that issue. I'll bring up all kinds of issues. For example, we need to talk in Iowa, what is real wealth? Well, none of our people came out here in the 1800s looking for a job. They came out looking for wealth. And so I'm hoping people like you can take culture, can perform. People like me, my job is actually a culture historian. Yes, I'm the guy with the bus. I've been around every county seat in Iowa the last 15 years. Charles Grassley crows about being in every county seat every year. Maybe so. Although Des Moines Register recently revealed that 40% of those are closed shop. At any rate, I do go to every county seat every couple of years. We're on our 5th exhibit about Iowa. Who are we Iowans? Or are we different from others? Because we are. We're different from Minnesotans. We're different from Missourians. How and why? So my job as a culture historian, I'm not a politician. I wear that with pride. In these days of Trump and Hillary, we know what, the direction the country's going. I want to take us in a different direction. And thanks for letting me come and speak about it here. Do you have any questions, comments?
No, not really. I understand. I find the history. You knew my brother in
Yes.
Berlin, though.
Yeah.
You've been around, man.
There is a magic in the world. It's true that I've been a friend in Berlin 20 years with your brother. Alan and I are both born in 1962. We're both historians from Iowa. We both majored as doctoral candidates in German history. He especially, the East German regime, both of us, Nazi history. It's a freak. And we met in Berlin some 20 years ago. I've spent on and off 13 years in Germany, 16 years in Europe. What I do bring to the mix is I bring an outside perspective, as do you former French schoolboy. What is it not to be in Iowa? That's important. We have a great place, but you can also get too provincial. You can get too locked in on Main Street. People need to know what's the wider scope of things. If you can't travel, at least read books about travel and history and all kinds of things. But indeed, I've known your brother as one of my best friends, and I met you coincidentally through Raimundo Rosales, not through your brother.
My buddy Raimundo Rosales, yeah. Raimundo used to have a show here called Hola on this channel many years ago. I was on that channel. I don't really speak Spanish, but
I love what you guys do. I love it.
you heard the old Raimundo y Tomas gig there. We did our thing, but yeah, well, it's interesting, and I think it's interesting that to have somebody running that's not establishment as such.
I get calls every once in a while these days from angry Iowa Democrats saying, how dare you run? You're going to take votes from Patty Judge and you'll help reelect Charles Grassley for the 1,000th time. And I asked a Quaker woman in Northeast Iowa last Sunday after a Quaker meeting, she started this, and I said, do you really want Patty Judge? She said, no, but that's who we've got. I wanted Rob Hogue. Many people did. They wanted him or Tom Fegan or Bob Kraus. Anyway, the DNC has foisted Patty Judge on us, so she's an imposter. She's been imposed from outside. Just like in 2013, Carl Rove came to Council Bluffs, tried to get a plan to get rid of our friend Steve King. He's from my district, Mason City. I'm not fond of Steve King either, but it's not the RNC's business or the DNC's business who we run in Iowa for candidates. Mm-hmm. It's not their business. Mm-hmm. And so here we are running, either you can vote cynically, who can get rid of Charles Grassley, or you can say, who do I really want? I would be the first baby boomer in this seat. Yes, Jody Ernst, she's in the other Senate seat, but I'd be the first baby boomer. We've got two people running opposite me who are World War II great warriors. They lived through the war, Charles Grassley through the Great Depression, as did my mother. I'm not bad-mouthing that, but they knew the boom. They knew the 60s. He was elected in the 70s. The man spent in Capitol Hill 42 years. The country has changed. The world has changed. And I'm saying we need people who are younger, people who have traveled, people who've lived abroad, people who have different passions. We need a new generation. We need a change.
Well,
A website you'd like to mention?
Yes. Thank you very much. We have a great brochure with our program on it. You can get that at www.heartlandparties.us. That's Heartland, like the place we all live, heartlandparties.us. I should mention that we're called Heartland Parties. We don't have a party as such, because I'm advocating lots of little parties, that rather than having two big monoliths, the Democrats and Republicans, we should have lots of little parties in each town that people say, let's come together once a week or once a month to talk about our problems and find solutions.
Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
And very good. Very
Hope to
good.
see you again.
Yeah, well,
Play on.
I will. I'll turn this up first. You take that mic there if you want, Bob. So, yeah, there. Okay, it's Michael. So, very good. It's actually an interesting thing about the parties. A lot of people have been telling me, because the historic thing is that very few people that I ever talked to like either a presidential candidate at all. So, what happened to O'Malley? Never mind. None of my business. What am I? Oh. I was thinking about Steve Earle. They were saying, I read Steve Earle's being interviewed, and they said, we don't want you talking politics, you just play. I said, well, I thought that was your job if you were in the, Well, he's a singer-songwriter, so I just... All right, well, very interesting. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, guitar. I want to say this little amp over here, this is a Blues Junior, Fender Blues Junior. I have another one. I think I've had it on the show before. It's a kind of a brown tweed one. And in principle, en principe, sorry, I just keep switching to French. I'm becoming my father. Basically, they're supposed to be the same amp, but they sound very different to me. That one that I brought with me this time is one that I got, I think, maybe last week. But I had a positive balance at West Music, and if you ever follow my odyssey of trying to find the right hollow body guitar for this thing that I won't want to call jazz, because I'm afraid nobody will come and hear me anymore, I tried to get a Paul Reed Smith, a PRS S2 semi-hollow in the whale blue. And when it finally came in, I had all the money saved up on an account. I had sold a bunch of guitars to West Music. Came in, I didn't like it. It made noise and stuff, and I didn't like it. So I had this rather, this positive balance, and I have since, of course, acquired another electric classical guitar, which is nice and everything. But I still have a positive balance at West Music, believe it or not. But this thing came up, and a guy gave me a great deal on a lightly used Fender Blues Junior. So I have two, a brown tweed one and a black one, but they sound different. So this one, I'm getting this kind of shimmering tone. So you can see it there behind me. So what I have is a gain, if you know what I'm talking about, turned way down so it doesn't distort. Most people want to get a dirty sound, a crunchy, overdriven metal sound. I want to get a really clean sound. So if you listen to Tuck Andrus or Pat Metheny. Hey, Bob, you ever heard of Tuck Andrus? Nope. See, nobody else has either. I took 2 classes from him. Fingerstyle jazz guitar, years ago. But Tuck and Patty. Not Tuck and Patty, but Tuck and Patty. They're married. Tuck is a kind of skinny, elfin little white guy who does look rather like an elf. He's older now. His hair is all white now, but and very kind of pale and Buddhist by nature. And Patty is a large, deep-voiced African-American woman who grew up singing in the church, And somehow they met, and they ended up getting married. And they have been together doing their thing ever since. It's a mixed marriage, because he's this little elfin guy's always looking over her, and she's a love warrior type of thing, and they're still working together. But Tuck and Patty. Tuck Andrus, if you are interested in fingerstyle kind of guitar playing. Anyway. I spent the rest of the show trying to... Show's half over. Haven't quite gotten in tune yet. notice where there's guitars, it's hard to get up there. If you follow my show, you'll know that I have this thing about playing the last note. I can't remember where it was, but I was somewhere and there was somebody was asking somebody who claimed to know about guitar playing, what about all these notes? What are these notes up here? What are these for? I said, oh, nobody ever plays up there. So I was a tender age at the time, and I thought, well, I want to play up there too. So so anyway, this is PATV. I think you can tell by my shirt. There we go. See that shirt? PATV, Iowa City, Channel 18. That's, yeah. I represent, man.
We're your neighborhood network.
That's right.
Do-it-yourself TV.
That's right. So this is public access, and most public access stations are gone. Things have changed. There was a legislative event some years ago, and we found out about it at the last moment. I couldn't attend to this thing. We went to the State House there in Des Moines, and some of us, to plead our case because they're going to change the law about the franchise agreements and so forth. And
Iowa City's own Joe Bolcom voted for it.
He did, yes. He voted
because
for
he
this.
thought Iowa City had too good a deal.
Too good a deal as far as the cable TV. But basically, so they can, the cable company, whatever, they can opt for a state franchise, which means there still will be money for us. If you don't know, some people think this is tax money, that this is actually cable subscription money. So you pay for a bunch of channels you don't want on your cable, and that might include PATV. Or maybe you do want it. But this is our channel, so if you want to make a TV show or whatever, you can be on it. So, I mean, I have my own reasons why I started doing this show 22 years ago.
A couple percent of your cable bill comes to support PATV.
Well, not even. I don't think it was like 50 cents out of very small amount of money really. But some people are very anti-tax, and they say tax. You know, it's not tax, man. It's a cable bill. It's like you pay for a lot of stations, and this is one of them, and you don't pay very much.
All those cubic zirconia channels.
That's right. You pay for all this cubic zirconia channels and infomercials, and you pay for PATV and a few other things too. But so the funny thing was we weren't actually allowed in the room. There are people with very expensive suits that went into the room with the legislators when they were working through this thing, and our people were not allowed. Of course, we are typically a rather scruffy-looking bunch, as you can see. But anyway, so in a couple of years, our agreement, or Iowa City's agreement with slipped the groove, man. Heritage, that was a long time ago. With Mediacom will end, and there'll be a new agreement. And it may be that all the money for PATV will be cut off. That was the thing we've been. So we've done a lot of things here. We're getting ready. We actually have a whole new staff here, starting a new life here, and we're going to work on this till 2018. But basically, this is public access, and this means that people can produce their own television programs. My reason for doing it, way back when, and it was a long time ago, it was originally 1990 that I had my first Tom's Guitar Show, and that was just 6-part how to play guitar. But in the 80s, MTV used to be a music television station. That was what it stood for. You see, that was a long time ago.
When it started out, yeah, it was all music videos.
Yeah, music videos. And I was actually, I'm an older fellow, you know. I'm not as old as you are, but
oh, so few people are.
That's right. Well, there are not a lot of them left. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, I look at the obits. Half the people there are younger than me.
That's right. Well, it's I've been having this experience for a while, not as often as you do, I think, but sometimes I just don't look at them. But anyway, my reason. Okay, so MTV. When MTV came out, in fact, it was new. And I turned 25 years old. I was in Mill Valley, California. Maybe it was Sausalito. I don't know. I was playing guitar. My 25th birthday, I played guitar at Alibaba's Cafe, or maybe the concert hall in the back is the Resch House, whatever. But they had a great big screen TV and a projector. So this is when everybody's TV was this big, was a projector thing. And they had the 49ers playing the Super Bowl. And I'm not really a sports fan, but the 49ers, San Francisco team, of course, right across the Golden Gate Bridge, won. and Joe Montana and all that stuff. And it was like, so everybody was happy. They had this new wine that nobody ever heard of called White Zinfandel. They brought cases of it in, and I played guitar. And there were people sitting in the audience who were producers for this new thing called MTV. And they said, and the guy who got me this gig and who was, hanging around, I think he brought in the wine, whatever, he said that these guys, if I got it together, they'd like to, I could do these music videos. And I always wanted to do these really artsy ones, like maybe riding a motorcycle with a camera on the handlebars, whatever, up the Highway 1 north of San Francisco, like things like that in the bright sunshine. And then what happened was you'd see these videos of these guys lip syncing with young women with like really short shorts leaning on shiny fenders of shiny cars from the 50s, singing about their personal problems. And I thought, that's not what I wanted. I want like this, beautiful art thing, yeah. And so, and also the people who weren't, the thing about like not actually playing the guitar, just sort of holding it there, which I didn't know about yet, like the Wrecking Crew and all that.
Right.
A lot of the guitar I saw like on the variety shows, Sonny and Cher or whatever, they were lip syncing. And there was somebody else playing those instruments. And that tall, handsome black guy with a blowout hairdo, wearing a vest and no shirt, going like this, playing bass, that wasn't him. That was Carol Kay, a middle-aged woman with the cat's eye glasses who was punching the time clock, whose drug of choice was coffee, who had to go and pick up the kids at school, so she had to get the session done. So all that stuff is all fake, And so what I wanted to do was to do a show about actually playing guitar. So when I play here, I'm actually playing. Now you may see me.
Yeah, your partner's a little box on the floor, but
Well, yeah, but my partner, my little box on the floor, is I'm going like, maybe I'll do. How about B minor 7, E7, sharp 9.
Yeah,
like.
You are your partner.
That was me. I just played that one. Anyway, I mean, I know
Because you'll show up on time and sober.
Well, I've had issues with other musicians. I can put that in a little bag, and I can see that the light's kind of dimming. I can put a new 9-volt battery in it. I don't have to. I can tell you stories about other musicians, but I'm not. It's a family show anyway. So that's why I started Tom's Guitar Show, is because I wanted this to be on TV, and that show was 26 years ago. This particular incarnation is only 22 years old, this live show format. But the half-hour show, I had to edit it and get it done and stuff, and so this one gets done whether we like it or not, and not always perfect, but
well, as we've mentioned before, if we ever get one perfect, we're done.
That's right.
We're going to keep doing this till we get it right.
Right, might be a while. The first 22 years were the worst. The next 22, well, we'll see how many more years we're here. I mean, they could pull the plug on us like in 2 years, and that'd be it. And I'd have to get, well, I guess I have a YouTube channel, but it's not the same, man. People say, well, we got YouTube. So, yeah, you got your little camera phone, and, here we have a studio. Look at these bright, beautiful lights behind me in this set that I have and everything. And, we have a crew. We have training, professional staff.
Yeah, if you want to make a show, you can come down here and check out this equipment, and they'll teach you how to run it.
Yeah. You might even get to meet Bob. But
well, I don't. That's
pushing it.
Yeah. Up here in this rarefied atmosphere.
I see. That's one of those perks we can't really promise.
Those of us up on Olympus.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I was sitting around the senior center one day, and Phil said, "Why don't you come down and help make a guitar show?"
Oh yeah. Oh, he just gave me a sign. I think it was the. I didn't read it, but it says the show is waning. So. All right, I'm going to do an old standard. Because this is I don't know. I'm just like part of me. Okay, so here's my here's my cultural thing. Is I have this desire. I've been thinking for a long time about getting the folks up there in Michigan to build me a heritage, which is like the Gibson factory in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gibson closed it and moved to Nashville in 1985. But some people stayed behind, and I think they're like one wing of the old Gibson factory, which has floors that kind of are wavy. It's really old and kind of funky up there. But they build these beautiful heritage guitars with some of the original Gibson people and some of the original Gibson equipment. So they built, they built like Les Pauls, SGs, but they built all those hollow bodies, all those big jazz boxes, And some of them, I think a lot of people say they're better than the Gibsons. So, if you check the weather, they have all these things in the ads on the side. I get guitar porn on mine, So I get these pictures. There's one is a Gibson Birdland, and it's and the price is $10,999.99. I think. Who are you kidding, man? You could make it $12,000. It wouldn't make any difference. But $11,000 anyway. So, but I could probably get one as good or better built for me for $3,000. It would take maybe 5 or 6 months, to have it delivered, built to my specifications. And if you come up with like $125 a week, that's $500 a month. 6 months, you got $3,000. I could probably save that, And but then the other part of me says, some of these here, like this. This is significantly cheaper than that. Maybe I could be happy with these kind of guitars because do I want to sound like a jazz guitar player from the 1950s or 60s, whatever? Joe Pass. I like Joe Pass. And, but I don't want to be Joe Pass. So, but, so anyway. So I'm going through my identity crisis here on live TV. So okay. So I'm gonna try to play something, but there's this shimmer on this that you don't get on those big fat. I got a little bit of reverb on this very thin hollow body. See how thin that is? Well, the show is almost over, but Michael, you want to come back and just step up here and tell, like, you have any events planned for today or this tomorrow, or?
Which mic am I supposed to use here, guys?
Use either one. Your stereo.
You know, no more events planned for today. I was in Des Moines this afternoon talking to the bigwigs, of course, over there. But we do have things coming up. As I mentioned earlier before the break, I do cultural history. I talk about Iowa in the past, how we got to be the way we are. So this summer and fall, I will be speaking around the state. We're going to be taking out our Baseum. That's my professional cap. It's not my political cap. I do differentiate between the two of them. But we'll be in Northwest Iowa, September and October. All the counties west of 35, north of 80. By then, by the election, we will have been in every county in the state over a year period. We will be at the Clay County Fair. Again, that's with my job, not with the political campaign. However, in the evening, I'm my own boss. It's one of the beautiful things about my campaign is that I'm not bought by anybody. I'm unbought and unbossed. So as opportunities avail themselves, I will be around. I'll be in Des Moines in some category, some capacity during the state fair, but I'll be around. I have a photo from Belmont, Iowa in the 1920s. I forget the person's family name, but somebody for state senate. And simply paying the back of a Model T, and there's a group of guys out front in Main Street. And I think that's the sort of politics that I miss. I miss those olden days when we actually used to talk as citizens with each other and say, well, what's going on in your life these days? And you tell me, and I tell you what's going on in my life. And we'd find the good things and also the problems and try to work on those. So this is sort of the kind of politics I want to revive, and all kind of old school politics. I want to go out and stump. I have a little ladder. I have a microphone a lot like this one, actually, and I have a loudspeaker, and I'm going to go with my little ladder and my loudspeaker and my mic, and I've already done it. I was at Ragbri during the day with my bus, but at night and in the evenings I was doing my political thing. We were at Nordic Fest, same story. We did the bus. Separate from that, I did my political thing. I will go out and meet the people. We do have a Facebook account. You can find, probably it's under Michael Lewick Trams, et cetera, Facebook, but we will engage the citizenry. I'm not going to go and have private donor events. We know that a certain candidate recently announced she was going to watch Hillary Clinton's acceptance speech, but, oh, by the way, it was RSVP. We won't do any of that. There'll be no backroom deals. There'll be no one plopping down millions of dollars for me to do their bidding in Washington. I'm going to meet people like the cameraman, like the waitress upstairs in the coffee house. I'm going to talk to the people that we live with and say, what's going on in your neighborhood? So I'll be doing that. Just look for me. You'll find me. Thanks.
Okay. I have one last question. Are you a historian or an historian?
Oh, God. I cheat. I always say I'm a cultural historian.
Okay, that's better. Okay. No.
Actually, seriously, what does a cultural historian do? I've had reporters say, so what does a cultural historian do? Like there are Black history historians, there are technical historians who study technology, there are economic historians. I study how cultures change over time or not. And so for decades, I've been studying Iowa, about the refugees who came to Scattergood Hostel during World War II. Iowans saved 185 Jews and others fleeing the Nazis. I've studied and written about and lectured about Iowa soldiers captured by the Germans, kept as POWs in Nazi Germany. I'm really interested in how did we get to be us? Because there's a story, there's a process. And at the moment, I'm really interested in who will we become. So either we can become something by default, we can clunk along like we've been doing the last 20, 30 years, or we can actually make a plan. Iowa will be 200 years old in 2046. I'll be here, I'll be 83. Chuck Grass will be 113, and Patty Judge will be 103. But I'll be here for sure. And my vision is, who do we want to be as a state in 2046? How clean will our water be? How clean will our soil be? How vital will our little towns be? Or not? It's up to us. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Ladies and gents, here, Bob, you're the official stage crew here. That's Bob. Never mind, okay. Yeah, so I'm more of a street corner historian myself, but I like history. But I'm just saying, I bore people with the history of, guitars and, the evolution of various things. Well, anyway, as you know, this is Tom's Guitar Show. If you want to come hear me at the Tuscan Moon this weekend in Kelowna, people do, It surprises me that people actually watch this show.
And speaking of street corners, we should mention that the last Tuesday of every month, we meet at the street corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette at Uptown Bill's Coffee House.
Yeah, we better figure out something to do this month. Huh? What do you think? Maybe not.
Work on a theme? Yeah, we still have a couple weeks.
Why change the habits of a lifetime, right?
We've had theme shows before.
Yeah, I suppose.
Your classical extravaganza.
Right, and my banjo extravaganza.
A Christmas show.
That's right. Years ago, we used to have the families who play together show, but now I can't seem to get the families organized. So, anyway. So yeah, as I was saying, one thing I want to show before the show's over, though, is this is a DBZ diamond. One thing about or actually it's not a DBZ, Dean B. Zielinski. And I actually have a DBZ case from my other Imperial, which I have. This is a diamond. Dean Zielinski left the company, and I think
Current incarnation of the company.
Yeah, the current incarnation, but it fits in the old case because this is a very unusual shaped guitar. But one thing that they have is that there's this thing here. It's called the coil tap or a coil splitter, not a coil tap because that's different. If I pull this thing out, I go for single coil, so I get this sound like. If I pull it out, I get. So if I want to do something like, which you wouldn't get normally out of a guitar like this, but because I pulled this little thing, I'll also get this hum. But I can go like. Well, that was noisy, wasn't it, huh? Well, anyway, it's a lot of fun. I like this guitar. I've got like 80 guitars or so. I lost count. I'd like to bring this one and the solid body version of this, the older DBZ one from some years ago, on the show and compare them and show the difference between the hollow body, the semi-hollow, and the solid body. But I only have one case. So I guess, it's like, two brothers who they don't have one pair of shoes. So when they go out, only one can go out at a time or something. I don't know, some story like that. Somebody was telling me that her father they were so poor. This is a guy who probably born around 1900. On a little dirt farm in Iowa, somewhere where the things didn't grow so well, hard scratch or whatever, that they only had one pair of overalls. So on laundry day, they couldn't go to school. That's what she said. But that sounds like one of those stories like, I had to walk 5 miles to school and 5 miles back, uphill both ways.
3 feet of snow.
And 3 feet of snow, yeah.
Well, when my father was that age, he would walk to school in wet clothes.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, well, the show is about over, so I'll do the Tom's Guitar Show theme. So, if you want to make a TV show, come on down. It's all here. Power to the people, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?